Good evening and welcome back to Planner Craft. I'm Natalie and I'm going to be taking you through your first drawer. So first of all, I will say that we can't see comments just for this first section. It's not going to be too long. So one of the questions that we've had on the group is about filling, and I thought it would be a good idea to show, as it's going to be the first drawer, what happens if it goes wrong. Okay, so I've brought in an oval topper and we can see it's all coming in pieces. So if at this moment we were to set it to fill, we're going to end up with 3 solid ovals, which obviously isn't what we want. So let's take out our 2 ovals on the outside because we don't need those. And if you see something like this where you've got all these little shapes, and it's great for doing layered things, but for what we're doing today where we want to actually draw it, we're going to go to edit and we're going to subtract. That then takes all those shapes and it punches it back through. So that means that when we fill, it's going to fill but with little holes in, which is what we want to see. So if I go back to layers, you can see it's just one shape, and if I change colour you can see it's going to stick to those outside areas. So I'll zoom in a bit so you can see that a little bit better. There we go. I was doing some alignment earlier in case you're wondering why I don't have my grid turned on, so I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger, not too much. And we can send that to our machine. What we'll do actually, thinking about it, just going to add a basic shape. Let's make it proper topper, shall we? And let's stretch that down. Okay. So let's say I want to make sure that those 2 shapes are aligned to each other. If I drag over the top to select them, then I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to align it to the centre like so. And we can drag those 2 shapes in just a tidge, just so that we know that they're away from that red line. We can go to layers, and I'm just going to set that oval to draw. And because it's got that colour in, it's going to automatically go to fill when we send that to our machine. To keep that alignment locked, we can group. So that's Control and G or Command and G. Put it all into a group, and then we can send it to our machine. Now with Canvas we have 2 ways of exporting to our machine. We can export an FCM file and save that to a USB stick and stick that in the side of your machine, hopefully with an extension. So I'm sure you've heard Ian talk about using an extension lead on your ScanNCut before. If not, pop a note in the comments, and when Ian catches back up with comments in a minute, he'll be able to fill you in. The other option is to transfer it via the internet, and that's the one I'm going to go for today. I'm going to go OK, and then we can swap seats. I'll go that way. Combined spaces. Okay. Yes please. Okay, so we're going to...
We're making some awfully big assumptions that it's actually working.
We are, aren't we? So before we go too much further, I'll just let Ian catch up and find the video. Bear with it a moment. I would tap dance, but there's no room.
Okay, so good evening Deb, good evening Mum.
Oh, and Natty forgot to mute the computer.
Evening Carol, Valerie, Delsey, June, Hayley, who else have we got? No, I haven't gone to sleep, because we've been doing other things. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, we've got
We got...
Two cameras.
Oh, something's gone a bit wrong. It's because it should be using that one. You're being naughty. I think that's what Carol was referring to, you going to sleep. They might have to go into Streamlabs.
There we go. Hi Jen. Fine, I've turned it off.
Just turn it off and we'll fix it later. Okay, so moving to our machine. I'm using the DX today. One of the things we are going to try and do for other streams is see if we can do some where we've got both active so you can compare how they work. But we'll see how we go with that one, won't we, Ian? That might have to be a weekend one, depending. So I'm going to go to retrieve data, and we've sent it via the Wi-Fi, so we're going to click on the little Wi-Fi. That's going to pull it down, and you can see that our drawn element is going to appear in blue and our cut is in black. That's important because if you get to this point and bring it in and it's all black, that means it's probably not going to draw that centerpiece. Especially if you've been using the desktop version, as you can only have that set to cut or draw. With the online version it's slightly different in that it does have the option to have a cut and draw line, which also appears in black. Really usefully that. I could at least set it to a different colour so it's nice and easy to see. Okay. Do you want to do a little bit on pen holders, Ian? Do you want to do a little bit on pen holders? Nah. Okay. I'll do it then. So, we have, let's angle this one up here just a little bit. Yep, nothing changed.
Carter's house poor thing, she doesn't get out much lately, she's in lockdown.
No, she's alright.
Yeah, she's alright.
She's alright, she's just behind me. So,
Hi Marion.
okay, so we have 4 pen holders currently, give or take, that we can use. So, going from left to right, we have, can you just flick to Streamlabs for me just so I can see what I'm doing? Thank you. So we have the Brother Universal pen holder, we have the standard pen holder, we have the Sharpie pen holder, and the 3D Thumbprint Universal. Okay, so the standard pen holder is the one I use the least, and basically it just has a little section that opens up. It takes little mini pens that you can only get from Brother. Take the cap off, drop it in, close the top, and then you have 2 options. You can stick the cap in the top so you don't lose it if you're like me, and in between drawing you can just pop it on the other end to save it drying out. Okay.
She's awfully close to me.
It's because I've got the camera quite far down today. Next one. Brother Universal has 2 parts to it. So you have the guide and you have the holder itself that slots into the guide. So it's got 2 little sections here which you're going to slide that into, and that sets where that pen is going to come in here. Okay, so if we lift and turn, you're going to tighten that holder, but when you want to put in a pen, make sure that this bit is lined up to this arrow here. So hopefully you can see that if I come a bit closer. Okay. So, shall I grab a pen? Thank you. I think you managed to pick one there that won't fit, but so the idea being, you drop your pen in, hopefully you've got one that fits, you're going to lift and rotate it round until that point where it feels tight, normally. Yeah, you managed to pick, let me pick another one. It's okay, I've got some Sarasas over here.
That'll work, because it's a flip one.
Yeah, okay. Clip it. An important point to make is to make sure that you click your pen before you put it in. Otherwise, you definitely aren't going to be lined up in the right place. So you're going to twist it round until it's tight, and then you're going to let it drop in. So it's got these little tiny teeth that are going to go into the teeth in the bottom section here. And then you gently want to give it a light pull just to check that it's not going anywhere. And then that's ready to go into your machine. When you do that, this flat bit is going to go to the back of your carriage and drop in. Okay. Oh, next. So we have our Sharpie pen holder, and that literally just has room for a Sharpie. So you unscrew the cap, take off the lid, drop it in. You're not supposed to bash your knee, and screw the cap back on. And there we go. And you're ready to go. Your 2 lines go to the back of your carriage, which is important, because if people try and do it the other way around, it's not going to go in. Okay, so for our design today, I thought it would be good to use the universal, and I'm going to use an alcohol marker. So let's get the right end. I want to go to the fine end. So this is a fine and brush curry colour, and it's the only alcohol pen I've found so far that fits. And I mean alcohol pen as in like a sort of magic marker, pro marker, Copics. So we can pop that in there and tighten it up. So again, you've got that guide that's going to set where that nib goes. Take your guide off before you put it in your machine. Can't do it otherwise it's definitely not going. 2 lines again, and we're going to pop those to the back. Now change the angle. Now hopefully this time it won't ping off my desk like it did earlier. I'm going to drop my latch. Now if it gets like this and there's any tension in there whatsoever, stop. Give it a wiggle. Try again. And then it should go down. There shouldn't be any feeling of it jamming when you're doing that latch down. So if you can tell that there's some resistance, stop, give it a wiggle, try again. Same with any of the holders. Never try and force it. Okay, so what shall I go for? Oh, thank you. There you go, my magic hands will help me today. Yeah. So tomorrow we're starting a 4-parter. So in the morning it will be with me doing some computer work and setting up a stencil and a few other bits and pieces ready for the evening. And then the plan is I'm going to carry on after the live and actually pre-record the evening, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so back to that one. So if we go into edit, object edit, actually, hang on. Is it having a... Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll go okay then. Let it sort itself out. Okay. I'm going to go to draw. Now, if we go into our draw settings, you're going to see that we have draw speed and draw pressure. Hello!
You've been doing the course. Nice concept.
Okay, so we're using an alcohol pen. So the last thing we want to do is go slow. Okay? Because if you go slow, if you think about it, that pen is going to start blobbing. So you want to go quicker. You also don't need any pressure because you're working with a felt tip. So we're going to speed up and take that pressure down. About 5, do you think, Ian? We found -9 was a bit too light, wasn't it? Okay. Now if you haven't got that shape grouped, you can also change your fill settings. So if you want to put a pattern in there, if you want to change your line width. Let's see if I can do that actually there. And if I go back, will it let me? No. Okay. Tell you what, Ian, do me a favour. Resend it ungrouped. Just because I know I'll do with showing that bit. I was trying to be too organised, you see. I did a blog piece with lots of grouping today. Thank you. So let's bring it back in. So the reason I've done that is so I can go into edit. Now when we don't want to move position by accident, what we can do is we can use these 2 arrows to cycle through shapes. So I want to make sure that my red box is around my blue shape. I'm going to go to Object Edit. I'm going to go to Fill. And we can see that having that colour in has turned our fill on. We can change our pattern. So anything from this top row is fine. Anything from this bottom row can start to knock out your calibration, so just be wary, especially if you're filling a large area, that you may start to get some unusual results towards the end. Okay. So I'm going to keep that solid. We can then change our fill line spacing. So because we're working with an alcohol pen that we know is going to bleed a bit, we're going to increase that slightly. Just saves you getting blobs on your cutting mat. If it does go through though, it doesn't hurt too much, does it, Ian? It just looks pretty. Okay, fill direction is which way your lines are going to go, if you're really bothered. So there are times when you will know that if it fills in a certain direction, it's going to fill that particular pattern better. So for instance, if you're working on a diamond, you might want to change your angle to match the angle of your diamond. So go okay, 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 draw.
Hi Mikey.
So there we go. And you can see because we've increased our line width, the time it's going to take is going to go down as well. Another thing to note is when you're drawing with a fill, it's always going to draw your outlines. So including round your swirls and round that centre oval first, and then it will go back and it will fill. Now that's something to bear in mind if your calibration is off, because basically it will move that fill over your outline. So if you are having calibration issues, make sure that you sort them before you start doing your fill. And let's go for it. So because we're using the 3D thumbprints, it's just going to say attach appropriate holder. Just go OK and start again. And if you have your scanner currently in position 1, it's going to tell you to change it to 2. Yes, please. You want to flip back to chat? He's playing you up, is it? Shall we say hello to Maggie? Now if you're working with a pen that's got quite a bold tip and you're thinking that you've lost some of the detail, what you can do is you can actually go back and draw back into it with a finer pen if you want to. Give you a different effect. Nope.
That was mean.
It was mean. I still didn't get a lot done, considering I started that early.
Okay, I got another 2 courses.
I blame Facebook.
Another 2 high academic courses.
So, any questions while we're waiting for this to finish drawing? Let me see if I can sort that for you. There we go. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about the bar, that's part of the machine. It's one of the bits that you can actually do better is the image and you see the drawing. It doesn't have the bar across it.
It says they're all pretty good.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, move the camera.
Okay, so there's our drawn oval. Let's pop that out. So now that we're done, we're just going to unscrew the top. Don't have to go all the way, just enough to just get your pen out. Okay, let's go full. Should I go for a Sarasa or should I go for a Scribblicious? Yeah. I'll even test it on a bit of coloured paper just to make sure. Come on. Might have to go for a fresh one. It's been a bit subtle today, isn't it? Is it? Oh, I'll tell you what. Change of plan. Let's go for that one. Good old Artesia. So. Yeah.
Scratch pop. Getting mildly out of hand.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some of those I can use up tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to go for an Artesia Gel Pen next. And I'll go for the standard, I think, just for a change. Okay, so we're going to check that our handle is in line with that arrow. Pop it in. Lift up. twist round until it feels tight and let go to the nearest teeth. Okay, that's feeling a bit loose. Lift it up, take it round a little bit more. Nope. A little bit more. Don't like to force it too much. It's not liking this one, Ian. Nope, not liking it. Okay. You can see why I end up going back to this one more often than not. So the 3D thumbprints one is a lot more forgiving, isn't it, in terms of what pen you can use. So 2 lines to the back. Let's see if we can move slightly better so you can see. Okay. So you're going to pop it in like so. Has it gone off, has it? Okay. Let me. Right. So I'll do that again. So 2 lines to the back. Straight in. Again, if it resists, give it a wiggle. And in. Oh, you can see that bit better this time. So now I'm going to go OK, because we finished that drawing. We're going to go back. We're going to go edit. We still want our blue shape. Object edit to the fill, and we're going to turn it off. So that means it's just going to draw that outline. Okay. Actually, do you know what I'll do while I'm in there? I'm thinking, let's turn on the additional line. And I'm going to take the spacing down a little bit because I don't want to have too much space between them. Let's try that and see how we go. Maybe down one more. Yeah. Go for it. Okay. 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 And draw. Now this time we know that we're working with a gel pen, so we're going to want to change our settings. So this time we're going to go the other end of the speed scale. We're going to want to go nice and slow. We're going to need a little bit of pressure but not too much. And we'll go OK. Questions while we're waiting for that to do. What's that going? It's looking a little pale. Oh yeah. It's okay, it just hasn't got that far yet. So we can use that line width spacing to actually make our pen look bolder than it actually is, or we can use it like we can here where we're finding that the pen might not draw a consistent line, to just go over it so that we get a nice amount of coverage. Now the other thing to bear in mind is with the alcohol pen, because it's that wider nib, if we then cut along that same line, you'll actually get a nice border both sides of your cut line. So that could be something you might want to play with if you're working with apertures, and it might be something you might want to play with if you're layering up. don't be afraid to ask questions if you have any. So other ideas of things that you might want to put in your pen holders, pencils, believe it or not, if you have a automatic pencil, and you can use one of those in it. Yep, cookie glue pens. Crayons, yep. You can put coloured pencils in it. You can put, what else we've done? We've done loads of it. You can put paint pens in it and use the foiling setting. So that's something, I'll show you how to enable that in a minute. So particularly if you have any slow drying pens, you should always be using the foiling setting rather than draw. Okay, we'll just do this one. Nothing to do with staring at the screen all day. Do you want to just say about a competition here while we're waiting?
We're going to extend it, won't we?
Yes.
Or add it in.
Well, we'll add it in, yeah.
So what's the new competition? She didn't say.
Birthday card.
A birthday card.
Yeah, we said about doing birthday card competition, didn't we?
So, as you know, we did a competition last month, or the month before. That's right, Carol, no worries. While you're there, we're just saying about the competition we're going to do. We didn't have many entries to the technique manual. So we're going to extend the competition and add into it to make a birthday card for Natalie. So it's Natalie's birthday on the 27th. So we'd like you all to make her a birthday card and put it in the competition, and then we will pick a winner from both the...
Yep, from both sections.
From both sections. So you can either make yourself your technical manual cover.
Yep, so the bits that we do on a Monday evening you can add into that.
Or you can make Natalie a birthday card. You can pick which ones you like, and they can go into the same album, so it can go into the technique cover album, and we'll just add the birthday card to the bit.
Does that technically mean that Mum's entering the competition?
Why?
Well, she'll send me a birthday card.
We're not going to put it in the post, are we? That's kind of if they want to.
No, it's okay. We can have virtual cards.
Virtual cards. That's right, Sally.
Okay, so we're nearly there. So if you're not familiar with our challenges, you may be lucky enough to receive one of the limited edition 3D fun prints Sharpie and Universal Pen Holder sets. Is that because I've made you spend so much money, Carol, that you can't afford the postage? And I suppose we should also say, for those of you that haven't seen it, the book is out now. Can't even say it. The book is out now, is what I'm trying to say.
So the Drawing with Vectors book has been released, for those who haven't seen the posts. It's $27.50.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Something like that. and if you have Prime, it's shipping in a couple of days, so you'll have it before we do. Otherwise, we'd share your copy, but we're not getting ours for at least.
Do you
10
know
days.
our first copy has arrived already?
It?
Yeah, with one of the first people to buy. They've already got their book. Sorry, Carol. Okay, so just to finish this off, I'm going to pop in my blade and we can cut round the outside. So if I go OK, I'm going to go to please select, cut, and I've got my speed on 1 and my pressure on -9 because I'm using my standard blade. If I was using the vinyl blade for detail, I tend to put my pressure up just a little bit. But for something like this, it would hurt. And let's go.
But we appreciate you buying the book.
We do. We do.
And everybody else who's bought it so far.
Yes. I'm still setting up the group, so what I will do is keep everybody holding in holding pattern until it's ready to go. So I'm hoping to spend some time on it tomorrow, but first of all I want to try and get this 4th session in, so we can do those and have a little fun. I must say, here we go, because Natalie's going to be in control of the live tomorrow all on her own.
It came today, we still not looked at it.
Sorry. Sorry, Sarah Lou. Shouldn't laugh. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
That's alright. My meeting this morning, nobody told us it was happening. We just had to guess.
Yep, so hence you were up at 7 o'clock this morning and didn't actually do any work till what time was it?
That's not true. I did do it, 'cause I did my
yeah, you did your training, but you didn't do your normal.
Yeah, it was about 9:45 when they actually turned up.
Okay, so you can see there where your actual path is compared to where your wider tip of your alcohol goes. So there you go. That's how we can use additional line to fix our pens, or to fill, to mean that we don't actually decorate our mat. So as you can see, it didn't go through. It's not gone through on the back either. So that's what you want to aim for when you're doing your drawing. Yeah, that was our thinking, so it was better early than late.
Yeah, that's what I did in the morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I thought I'd rather be online and they can see that I've been online since.
Okay, so do I dare to remove the mat now?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think you can take the mat out now.
Okay. I'm going to go okay. Remove the mat. Take out your blade.
Something like that.
Yeah, apply double-sided tape.
It's not very
Oops.
sharp edges.
I don't know where that's picked that up from. Yeah. Was it you? Oh.
It was, wasn't it? Because I remember I drew it and I went, no, don't draw it because it was off the page.
Ah, yeah, it was you. Carol, going back to what you were saying about the mat before the blade. With the DX, it's not quite as important because it doesn't have a, what's the word I'm looking for?
The blade doesn't stay put, does it?
Yeah, the blade
retracts.
Yeah, so it covers itself. But with the CM, it's protruding. So that's the one that you need to go careful. But I still don't put my blade in before I actually load my mat. But when it's coming out in the other direction, it's not as much. Oh, there you go. So you're ready to go for next week, Sarah Lou. So So you'll be pretending to listen next week then as well. Okay. So I will be back tomorrow at 11.
All being well.
All being well. As long as I get the hang of doing it on my own. I will be doing some work on the computer. Also doesn't judder like the CM. It does in a way, but I don't have my blade in at that point either. So when you do that first okay, and I don't have my blade loaded. It's a good habit to get into, especially if you go between the two frequently like we tend to. Okay, so I will see you 11 o'clock, and you all need design software. So whether you want to use Canvas to do it, if you want to use Affinity Designer to do it, if you want to use Illustrator to do it, if you want to use CorelDRAW to do it, if you want to use Inkscape, or even Scale, any of those, just have them open and ready to go. And we'll stop then. So take care, and bye.